morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Nzwanana. I'm the Speaker of Tswane, or the Speaker of Council. I just like to apologize to all of you. We should have started at 9 o'clock. And there are still members of the committees who are signing outside. And also, we still have chairpersons who are supposed to be chairing this or proceeding with this workshop. But we are not going to wait for them. We are going to start now so that we don't punish you for arriving late, for people who arrive late. For arriving early, then we punish you for people who arrive late. It's uncalled for, and it's something that I will deal with it, especially when it comes to the councillors. But let's allow the members of the public or the members of the committees to come in. Yeah, come. Are we forgiven? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's not good to continue with the meeting while people are angry. Thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Councillor Andrew Meyer, the Ward Councillor for Ward 84. I would like to welcome the Speaker to the session, and then I would like to welcome everyone that has taken the time to attend this session. which I do believe will be an insightful session so that everybody can be informed of what their role is as ward committee members to take this city forward. The keynote address will be done by the Speaker of Council. I would now be handing over to the Speaker to address the ward committees, and that we can start with the training session.
Good morning once again. Thank you for attending this workshop, which I believe that it's going to be fruitful. Also, it's going to assist you in terms of what you need to do. What I will do, I'll do two things. I'm going to give the purpose, which was supposed to be done by Chairperson Masha, and also I will address you. Firstly, the purpose of us being here is to be able to encourage you and also show support to the work that you have been elected to do. Some of us, or some of you, have never experienced to work with the community, to work with the government. For you, it's your first time. Now, when you do things for the first time, you end up trying to fit in to every possibilities that are there, even if you are not allowed to be there. But just because you don't know, you find yourself trying to fit in a passage, and that passage is not yours. So we are here today to present to you so that you can have an understanding of the work that you're supposed to do in your own ward. And again, to ensure that between yourselves and the ward councillors, not peer councillors, ward councillors, there are no cliches. You must work peacefully. You must be able to support and advise each other. Because if you find yourself as a ward committee member being bullied, let me put it that way, by the councillor, or you bullying a councillor, or you having informal meetings against the councillor, you conduct meetings which the councillor doesn't know about, then you are breaching the code of conduct. We've got the right to charge you. We've got the right to dismiss you if you don't follow the law. Because there are laws, there are bylaws that are in place, which I understand in your pack you do have a bylaw. That is your Bible. Read the bylaw. You must know the bylaw so that you can be able to lead your ward, or you can be able to give services to your ward. But we must remember one thing: the first citizen of the ward is the ward council. There is absolutely nothing that we can do without the approval of the council. We've got meetings that are scheduled for ward committees and the council. And the councillor must call those meetings, which is, we are speaking of 4 meetings per year, quarterly meetings, not monthly meetings. Quarterly meetings, which is, those meetings are the ones that you'll be able to get your stipend. But if you have a meeting every month, thank you, you can go ahead. As long as we are not going to pay you, we are fine. I don't know whether you understand me. So we are here to make sure that you understand the role that you are playing as a ward committee. We are here to make sure that you understand the player that you are in your own community. In fact, the purpose of having ward committees is to have service delivery in your own ward. You become a mini cabinet of the councillor in your own ward. In other words, you don't have an opportunity or a chance to have your own meetings that are outside the meetings that you are given by the council. Remember, the quarterly meetings that you have are determined by the council. The decision was taken by the council. It's not you that take a decision to conduct meetings. You follow the calendar that you are given in your ward according to the council. You follow those meetings every quarter. In other words, you meet 4 times a year. If then you feel that in your ward things are pressurizing you, are putting you under pressure, you write to the office of the speaker to request a meeting. You don't just conduct a meeting. You write, the councillor must write to the office of the speaker requesting an extra meeting, or that's something called a special meeting if you have something or issues that are pending that cannot wait for the next meeting. But you are legislated only for 4 meetings per year, not beyond that. Because if you conduct more meetings, we won't be having money to pay you. We are not paying you, it's a stipend that we are giving you. Every meeting you sit, then we are giving you 1,000 rand. In other words, for 4 meetings of the year, we are giving you 4,000 rand. We don't go beyond that. So, calling a lot of meetings, that doesn't mean you are going to have more money in your pocket. Call the meeting when it's necessary, and you also get advice from the office of the speaker. There are people who are responsible, who are there to serve you, who are there to assist you. Thirdly, the ward councillor is the chairperson of the committee. The ward councillor is the one that has a right to call a meeting. Hence, it is important that you follow the calendar of your of ward committees. If, let's say, the next meeting is in July, I'm just making an example. The duty of the councillor is to remind all of you to say, don't forget on this date, we've got a meeting. No one, absolutely no one has a right to call a meeting except the council. Any other meeting. But the meetings that are constituted, the meetings that are legislated, which those quarterly meetings, you don't need a councillor to call them. You just go to the meeting venue. And if the councillor is not there, I'm sure the doctor will speak more on this. If the councillor is not there, you as members of the committee, if you form a quorum, you can decide amongst yourselves who's going to be the chairperson of that meeting. Not that you are removing the council. But if the councillor is not there and there is an apology for that, then you gather together and agree who's going to be chairing your meeting. And you minute everything that you are discussing on those meetings. There will be members of the staff from the office of the speaker that will be part of your meetings. Hence, we are saying quarterly, so that we can make sure that those officials are available for you. But if we meet every month, trust me, you won't find them, because we are quite busy doing some of the things. 3, You've got a responsibility of making sure that services are taking place in your ward. If you haven't been given a portfolio by your ward committee, your ward councillor, you must seek for it. Because you cannot just be a ward committee member without the portfolio that you are running. You run with that portfolio and you don't focus on other people's portfolio, because when you meet, that is where you'll be reporting to each other. What is it that you have done? Your services are expected that you assist where there is a need. Like, for instance, if you can see that in your own clinic, where there is a clinic around you and that clinic belongs to the municipality, in your own hospital, you see that the queue is too much. Then you put on your overall and your t-shirt, you get in there and assist to reduce that queue. In other words, you don't bring services because you are heading a certain portfolio. You bring services because you want to better the lives of the people in your own ward. You are not employed. You are a member of a committee. You are a member of the community, the one that you must serve. 4, there is a steering committee that is put in place by the office of the speaker. You don't elect a steering committee. The office of the speaker is its responsibility to ensure that there is a steering committee in your ward. Why am I raising this? It is because if there is a program or a project that is taking place in your ward, you as a ward committee, you have got nothing to do with it. It is between the steering committee and the ward council. When I just focus on your duties and read the bylaw, it will definitely tell you what I'm saying. Be away from the project, but you must be aware of the project. Yeah, you must be aware of it. You must know what is happening in your ward, but don't interfere and go there and say, I am the ward committee, I demand to know. You go and see the contractor that is there, no, I demand to get this and that, and no, you are not allowed to do so. Because you've got your quarterly meetings where the councillor must report to you about any projects that are taking place, how far are they, and when the councillor finishes to report to you, you report about your portfolio. Because if you're going to be busy with the construction that is taking place in your ward, and you want to interfere, you want to know, you will fail to do your own work. In other words, play your role as the ward committee member. Don't step in where you are not supposed to, but make sure the councillor does inform you of what is happening in the ward. That is your right as a citizen. That is your right as the member of the community in that ward to know what is happening. If there is a building of a clinic, you must understand everything. The councillor must come and present to you. Together with the steering committee, together with the company that is doing whatever project in your ward. The community must be called. Make sure that the community is called to be briefed of what is going to happen in the ward. Ningaboni, when you wake up in the morning, send one up to Mama Trucks. The TMPD is working, you don't know what's going on. But you are there, you are the member of the ward. You are the member of the committee. You must know what is happening, but don't interfere. It's not your role. It's not your right. I don't know, do I make myself... Is it clear what I'm saying? The reason why I'm saying this, that I'm doing it so that you don't fight in your own words. Come here to the speaker to say, the councillor is not giving us an opportunity to go and see what is. No, you don't go and see. You don't go and see. The councillor and the steering committee are the one that go and see and come back and report back. What you must hold them for is the report back, is the feedback. So that in your constituencies, in your ward, you've got your own street. When people on your street are asking you questions, you are able to answer based on the information that you are given in terms of the feedback. But with projects that are taking place in your ward, no, stay away from the gate. It's not for you. But make sure that in that meeting, you get a report. Is it clear? Okay. The other thing that I want to emphasize is that do away with these informal meetings that you are having. You only started in October last year. You are already fighting with meetings and projects. Do away with informal meetings, special meetings that the councillor is not aware of. Any meeting that is informal, we are not going to take you serious. We are not going to take the minutes of the meeting serious. We are not going to address them because it was not an official meeting. It was not a legislated meeting. The legislated meeting 4 times a year. Then there are meetings where you will have to have in terms of emergency, if you have got emergencies, then you must gather and find a solution to deal with the problem, not to change the way you operate, to deal with the problem. Let me say we've got a portfolio of social development and we are experiencing an issue of elderly people and disabled people. Let me put it that way. If the word disabled is no longer used, please forgive me. But if you feel that this is an emergency, we must have a councillor, we must have a quick meeting. As long as the councillor is there, then that meeting will be official because it's an urgent thing. Then you discuss, you come up with a solution. Before you can ask for any assistance, you must be able to come with a solution to the challenges that you are facing in your own world. Then the other thing that you might be facing is that the ward councillor might be not coming from your own party. The ward councillor might be coming from DA, the ward councillor might be coming from EFF, it's DA and ANC who are having ward councillors here. The possibility that you are in a place where the ward councillor is coming from DA. Respect that councillor. Don't fight your political issues. Don't bring your political issues in those legislative meetings. When you get to those meetings, you don't discuss ANC, you don't discuss DA, you don't discuss EFF. Members of the committee, it's possible that you are coming from ATM, from the party that I'm coming from. You don't come into that meeting to discuss the issues of ATM. You don't politicize the ward committees. You are not representing your own party in the ward committee. Because if you are representing your own party, I would like to bring my policies of my party and the mandate to the committee. Then we'll start fighting. Then you stand up and tell me, we don't do this thing in DA, we don't do this thing in ANC. Why did you bring them? Why do you want us to know what you do and what you don't in your political space? We don't want that. We want you to be sober. We want you to be neutral. We want you to serve everyone that is in your ward, black or white, Indian or colored. Serve everybody in your ward. If you are in a ward where the ward councillor is the ANC, the ward members are the ANC, still you don't discuss your petty issues of the ANC in the ward committee meeting. You don't stand up in a ward committee meeting and address the councillor, hey, comrade, do this, no. Because once you say comrade, you are claiming him. Just say councillor, so that now he must understand that he's a councillor. He's not representing DA, he's not representing FF+, he's not representing ANC, he's representing the community. You are the members of this community. Your first priority is to take care of your residents. Do I make myself clear? If you don't have a relationship with the department, then you are doomed. If your portfolio is social development, as I say, or economic development, then you know nothing of what is happening in that department. You are doomed. It's better for you to step aside and resign. Because you need to be able to do a research based on the portfolio that you have. If we are speaking of the township economic development, you must know when is that coming to your area. You must be able to know. You mustn't have that luxury of saying, I don't know, I haven't been informed. What are you doing? Work for the portfolio that you have been appointed to. If you are on housing, you must be able to know what is happening with the title deeds in your ward. Discuss such things in your meetings. Report about those things. What is it that you have done to make sure that what the community is complaining about, you are attended to? You don't sit back and say, we'll wait for the department, and sit back and say, we'll wait for the council to tell us what to do. I'm the speaker of council. Trust me, all of you, you report to me. All of you. When I say you report to me, whatever that you are doing with the ward councillor in the ward, on those meetings that you have, at the end of it, it must reach my table. And if I get that you are breaking the code of conduct, then that report comes to me. It's me that will say you must be removed. I'm not going to be removing you because I hate you. I'm not going to be removing you because the color of your skin. I'll be removing you because of not performing. Performance is we need it, we want it. Don't be just, there is an energy around you. The people who elected you, they attended the elections. They elected you. They nominated you. Some of you, you just applied to be a ward committee member. Remember those who voted for you. Remember those who trusted you that you can deliver the services to them. In other words, you are assisting the councillors that you are working with. In other words, it is not only the councillor now that will receive calls at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't switch off your phones. Put them on silent. If you are a husband, talk to your wife. That wifey, I chose this route. So sometimes I'll receive calls at 3 a.m. So don't, please, sometimes it will be a female that is calling. If you are a female member, talk to your family, talk to your husband with the responsibilities that you have. It can't be that a week passes as a member of the committee, you haven't done anything to serve your committee or to serve your community. That's what I'm trying to say. So it is very, very key and important that discuss it with your family, because now you are in a political space. I don't know whether you understand me. If you are giving services to the people, you like it or not, you are in a political space. If people want to protest, they can come and protest in front of your house. And they say, you said to us last month. So you must, to be at the safe side, you must be always give feedback to the people that you have promised something to them. If you say, I will call the Department of Water and Sanitation to come and fix this stormwater, this drainage. Do that. If it's not happening, come back to the community. You've got a WhatsApp group with the community. Give the feedback there. They must understand that you have done your job. You have done your role. Now it's up to the department to come and fix what needs to be fixed. But you must be able to put pressure to the department. You must have someone in the department that you work with, not for corruption. Not for corruption, but to serve the people that you lead. So you are here today to be workshopped. We are privileged because we've got Copter here to give us the workshop. We didn't want you to say, we know these guys, they are from the city. We've been with them for a long time. No, we brought Copter. Copter is the department that is responsible for ward committees. And let me tell you this, in Tshwane, for 10 years, if it's not more, we haven't been having ward committees. We have been. That is why when you have to find a councillor, the councillor won't be there. If I'm a councillor in your ward and I don't have a ward committee, you call me, I'm in Attersville, you are in Hatfield. Trust me, I'm not going to come now. I'm going to finish what I'm doing in Attersville, then run to you. Probably you'll be mad by then when I arrive. And forgetting that I don't have human bodies that are around me to assist. It's only me as a councillor. Now you are here as ward committees. You must be able to assist the council. You must be able to advise the council. Don't fight the council. When you decided to call a community meeting, the councillor decided to call a community meeting, you agreed on that these issues needs to be discussed with the community. Don't be against the council. Sit like this with the council so that you are able to take questions together from the community. You mustn't be on the other side of the council and stand there. Hey, I'm the ward committee member. I want to know about this. Why you didn't do a research? Why are you asking the councillor that you want to know what is happening about the Apollo lights? It is Indonesia's business, not Apollo lights. It's Alma's lights. You see Sloom. That's a nice English. Then you stand up here as a ward committee member. You ask a question about that light. That light, councillor, it's been on for 5 years. Right? You are your portfolio is for electricity. What have you done? Why don't you stand up? Because if you sit here as a ward committee, you stand up and respond to say, as this department, a portfolio of water and sanitation and energy, this is what we have done to address this issue. It mustn't be the responsibility of the councillor to respond on the questions. You sit this side. When it comes to community members, community meetings, you are not a community member. You are a ward committee member. You must be able to respond to the questions that the community is asking. In other words, do your research. Go to the department, meet up with the MMC, meet up with the group heads of those departments, and try to understand how does the department work. So you take that work and bring it to your portfolio in your ward. You execute the work. You execute the work. You know these guys called councillors, they are in trouble. Do your work, perform, execute. Ujomba, the communities of Landelabani. I'll be worried if I'm a ward council. I'll be worried really for 2026, having such many people coming to get this workshop. We are bringing this workshop to you so that you can have a knowledge of what you are doing. You might be a mini council of Tshwane, a mini cabinet of the councillor, but you must understand one thing. You are guided by the bylaw of the ward committees. And if you feel that in that bylaw there is a clause that doesn't make the community safe or happy, raise that, don't toy, raise that in a proper channel. Can this clause be reviewed? Don't tell us to change it. Just say, can it be reviewed? If you can see that it doesn't serve the purpose to the community. But you must be able to hold that code of conduct, respect it. It applies to you. If you are disrespectful in the ward, if you've got a misconduct in the ward, if you are misleading people in the ward, trust me, we will remove you. We'll definitely remove you. And when we remove you, we'll write a love letter to you. And that love letter will affect your CV. Yeah, it will affect your CV. That this person is not a person to be trusted. For you to be able not to mislead the community, get away from issues of the political parties when you get into those meetings. When you execute your work, the people in your ward, they know which political party you are coming from. You don't have to wear, can you stand up, Conrad? You see these t-shirts? I'm sure all of you have been given. If not, they'll give you today. Put that thing. Don't put a DA shirt. Don't put an ANC shirt. Don't put an EFF. Don't put an ATM shirt. Please sit down. Put this shirt. That shirt is for the city. If one shirt is not enough for you, call for another one. And the other thing that we are going to do, we are going to give you name tags. It's unfortunately today, we thought procurement would have done that for us, but probably next week, the coordinators from your own region will be able to collect those name tags. So that when you visit, because that's the other thing, you must visit your communities. Go to their houses and see how they live. Don't wait for someone to die before he or she can get assistance from the government. Then you pick up the phone when someone is dead. You say, this person doesn't have insurance. Then he says, doesn't have doesn't have money to bury their loved ones. You come to us on the last minute. Then when we are unable to deliver even a bus to carry people to that family yard or to the graveyard, or we are unable to assist as the government because there is money that is put aside for that. But if you come to us on Thursday, the funeral is on Saturday, we are not going to be able to assist you, even if you cry blood. Because everything has to be followed. We need to do things in a better way. So please know, you must know what is happening in your ward. Don't be surprised when the executive mayor and the MMCs arrive in your ward. Don't be surprised because you have done your work. Probably the reason why they are there, it's because of you. But if you don't communicate with them, you are saying, okay, the ETA, the SF Plus, the ATM, the Indwetile, but the MMC that has to come here is ANC. I'm not going to advertise him coming here because he doesn't belong to my political party. That is not your space. That is not your space. If I'm the MMC, I'm coming from ANC, I'm responsible for your ward. You like it or not. If failures are taking place in your ward, you will be coming to my office, knocking to my office. But when I come there, you don't want to come. You say, I don't know what this man is coming here to do. I'm coming to do my work, whether you like my work or you don't. If you don't raise it in a proper way, I don't know whether you understand. Go to your caucus for your political issues there. Don't caucus in the meeting with your political issues. If you don't like the speaker, and the speaker is not coming from your political party, then unfortunately there's nothing we can do. Because you report to my office. It's a must that you come to my office. It's a must that I must know what is happening in your ward through you. Then you say, when the speaker is not coming from my political party, I'm not going to go there. All right, don't come. Because if you don't come, there is no services that the speaker will be able to assist you with. You undermine the office of the speaker, I undermine you big time. I just want to make it clear. I was told that to give the keynote address. I think that is enough. But all that we must understand when we leave this workshop. I'm not going to stay with you. I'm going to Soshanguve from here. From Soshanguve, I'm going to Mamelodi. Take note of what is going to be presented here. It is fine to have a pack in front of you, but take note. You must have your own notes to show that you understand what is being said. And go back to your word and implement what you have been advised to do. If we can work like that, trust me, we will have a beautiful city. This is the city that we have. Unless you are a visit, I'm not going anywhere. My life ends here. Started here, it ends here. If you are going somewhere, then that's your problem. So serve and serve and serve as if there is no tomorrow. Serve, 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 serve. You can't stand up in the media and say the service delivery in Tswana is bad. What have you done as a ward committee to make sure that the service delivery is not bad? To make sure that the service delivery has been taken to the people. Don't go and crush the council. Go to the department. Why are we not having energy? Why are we not having water? Why are we not having sport grounds? Why are we not having this? Why are we not having that? In a department. Work hard on that. Then you can stand up and say, services in Tswana are very poor because you have tried your best to make sure that service delivery comes to your ward. Lastly, when there is a project that comes to your place, when there is a project that the councillor introduced to you, the steering committee, then the ward committee, then the community. Everybody must know what is happening. If there is a project of building a school, the community must know how many people are going to be employed in that project. Don't hide it. The councillor mustn't hide it. He must come clean and tell you that we are having this project. And in terms of employment, they are going to employ 500. I'm just making an example. But if they are saying they are going to employ 500 in your own ward, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Check on your neighboring wards. Only 500, you can say, okay, 150 must come from my ward. Then share the 300 or 350 with the neighboring wards that you have. Because trust me, the community members, they do share what is happening in their wards. It doesn't matter whether you are an ANC, whether you are a DA. I'm going to speak more of those two political parties because they are the ones that are having ward committee, ward councillors. If you've got a project in your ward and the neighboring ward is ANC, invite that ward councillor to that meeting. Share the information. Discuss amongst yourselves to say, this project is to serve the people, is to make the lives of the people better. Tell the person that in this project, we are employing 300 people. Councillor, can you please come with your 100? I'm taking 200 because the project is in your ward. But share it with the neighboring ward. You don't own the ward. The worst part of all, you don't own the project that comes to your place. Because if I come there with my company, you must understand, okay, I'm building this school. In terms of service delivery, what is it that I'm doing? Because there must be something that I'm going to give back to the community. Because I've been given a tender to build the school. then I must give something to the community. To say, I'm fixing the potholes. They are there. And the thing that I like about all the potholes are everywhere. You find them in freeway, cruising nice, N1, Tiban and a pothole. Whom are you going to blame? The city of Tshwane? City of Tshwane doesn't own N1. Province doesn't own N1. National government does. But if we've got a working relations, the national government can contact the municipality to say, can you please assist us urgently on that part? But if we don't have that information in front of us, we will not listen to you when you complain. Can we, or are we going to try to work together? Are we? Yeah, we are going to work together. let me say this again. When you don't have time of talking to people, once you get it, you use it to your ability. May I request one thing? If I take this event or this workshop, because we are going to have workshops, this is the first one. This is the first phase. How many of them? 6? Yeah, there are 6. There are 6. Then at the end of it, you are going to get a certificate, an accredited one, that you can put it in your CV based on your experience of what is happening in the department that you are leading. So at the end of these workshops or these trainings, you'll get a certificate as a ward committee member to encourage you to do more. Right? Okay, let me put it this way. Region 4. Region 4, we've got a black area. Majority of black people are staying there. We've got a majority of white people who are staying in Centurion and in other areas. If, as the speaker, I decide to take this workshop to Oliver, attend. Don't attend the workshop that are in your area in Ward 106 as black people. Then when the workshop is in Centurion, you don't go. And when the workshop is in Oliver, those who are staying in Centurion, they don't go. That must come to an end. That must come to an end. Because if it continue happens, we will never bring those workshops to your areas. Because you are not representing animals, you are representing human beings. Let's bring that unity. Bring it. Come to Oliver, no one is going to kill you. We'll make sure that you are protected. Come to Centurion, no one is going to kill you. No, I don't go there because they didn't come to us. No, we are not kids. Go there. Whether we didn't come to you, come to us. Show us that you do want to come. Then we will come as well. Let's have that. Let's have that relationship. Like for instance now, this is true. If this meeting was not here, taking place here, in Tshwane House, and if it was in Oliver, the Centurion people were not going to go. No, I'm saying this on the experience. I've been conducting public meetings. I've been conducting imbizos. Once you move the meeting to Oliver, Centurion people, they don't come. Once you take the meeting, I'm saying this because it only happens to those 2 areas. It only happens there. We need to address this. We need to deal with this. As ward committees, let's work together. Let's find a common ground. What is it that we want to achieve? What is it that we want? The only thing that we want is to make the residents of Tshwane to be free in their own city, to be free of crime, to be free of poverty, to be free of anything that brings negativity to the human soul or human people. Thank you very much.
you very much, Speaker of Council, for that wonderful keynote address that you've given to this very wonderful house full of ward committee members. Let me firstly start by to acknowledge you, Speaker, acknowledge fellow councillors, Councillor Ngobeni in the absence, Councillor of Ward 58, Councillor Andrew Mayor of Ward 94, and other councillors that might be in the house. I see Councillor Frank Smith is amongst the attendees. I don't see that councillor there who's raising a hand, but you are acknowledged, councillor. Colleagues, we're going to move at speed, but I think with that wonderful address by the speaker, I can safely declare the workshop closed, because literally the speaker has said it all. However, we will endeavor to continue with the workshop. Colleagues, mine is to just facilitate this wonderful session. But before I do that, I just want to share a brief experience with yourselves. Having been a member of the Ward Committee myself, the last Ward Committee to be there in the city of Tshwane over 10 years ago, Speaker, it was in 2015 that the last Ward Committee was there in the city after being disbanded by the courts of the country. However, colleagues, I must say to you that it was a wonderful experience having been a Ward Committee member. And the office of the Speaker will do an excellent job, we know, in supporting your work. And as councillors, we're also there to work with you, not against you. It's very, very important that that symbiotic relationship must exist between councillors and Ward Committee members. The Ward Committee must not be treated as a turf war between councillors and Ward Committee members. We ought to coexist in serving our people. I think I just want to emphasize this point, that if you're sitting there as a Ward Committee member with ambitions possibly to one day sit in these wonderful chambers and all of that, fighting with a councillor is not the way to go. It's actually best that you work very well with a councillor, because I think all of us have been called upon to serve our people. So let that be our motivating factor as and when we have taken this huge responsibility. The Speaker has gone at length to explain some of the challenges that you will be dealing with as a Ward Committee member. I don't want to delve further into that. But one of the crucial roles that you play as Ward Committee members is that of community mobilization. It could be towards projects, it could be towards meetings. That is very, very crucial. The councillor, when he calls a meeting to introduce projects, you as Ward Committee members, you ought to make sure that as many community members as possible come to those meetings, so that we don't have these things that we normally get as complaints as councillors that no, we did not know about this, while in actual fact the meetings have taken place. So you come from various sectors in your communities. It is then your role to make sure that your sector where you come from attends to matters of council. That is where you need to focus on. Don't bring politics into the Ward Committee. We cannot overemphasize that particular point. And one of the things that I'm also glad to hear from the Speaker that they will be bringing forward is the issue of workshops. Workshops are very critically important. And just that the Speaker has left, I'm still waiting for my certificate, Speaker, if you can still hear me. During my days, I will have attended all workshops, and maybe that's why today I'm sitting on this side of the table. So I would want to take this opportunity to encourage you as Ward Committee members that you must take your roles very, very seriously, because the community relies upon you. So I don't want to delve further. We're going to receive our presentation for our training today from Mr. Conrad Jardine. At this moment in time, I'm going to call him to come forward and give us a presentation. Thank you very much.
everybody. How are you doing? Okay. My job is now actually very, very easy. The speaker said it, and he said everything that needed to be said. He said. And I was thinking, if I had to stay in Swane, I would be very proud and happy and excited. Because he sounded like a very committed speaker. And if things don't work out, as a ward committee member, with your ward councillor, you are able to communicate with the speaker and say, Speaker, this is the issue, this is the solution. Let's do something about it. He comes across as that. Would you agree with me? No? Yeah, make use of that. So he mentioned there's going to be a number of training sessions and workshops. One of them is called what we call asset-based community development. So the speaker has what we call the gift of the mouth. He can talk, and you have seen him in action. So he also has the gift of the heart, really pouring out his heart. So my job is going to be very easy. I'm going to take you through this presentation that you have in front of you there. I'm not going to go in all the details because technically we only have 45 minutes now. So by 11 o'clock we should be finished. So it's going to feel like we're rushing through some of the points. So please bear with us. So make a note of that when we have follow-up sessions, further workshops. That's where we can go into details. Okay. If Pusaletso is here, are you going to be after this? Just get Pusaletso to switch on the computer, but we'll start. So I've made some notes while the speaker was talking. So the first thing you have to do, when did you start working as ward committees in October last year? How has the interactions been going and the relationships with the ward committees, other ward committee members, and also the councillor and community members? How have that been going? Okay. But bumpy, finding yourself, finding the relationship. Is that the case? And so one of the things you have to think about as ward committee members and as a ward committee, when you come together, almost make it a statement of your ward committee. And that statement can be, how do we want to work together? And how when we work together I need to stand closer here. How when we work together as ward committee members, how will we work? And ward committee members, including the councillor, how will we work with the community out there? Okay. Remember, if you as a ward committee fight with each other and show your true colors, what do you think will happen when you want to go work out there in the community? They would also show their true colors. And they would also want to, end up in the tensions and conflict around that. So that's your number one. We call it working together. Ways of being, how you want to work together. Just a tip, don't call it rules, because South Africans are notorious for breaking rules. Okay, so call it ways of being, how we want to work together. And you become role models in your work, in your communities. Being in a political space, if you show that a ward committee from any sector or any organization, be it religious, political, or social, or whatever, if you show you can work together, then the community will slowly learn that behavior. Can you see how you have that responsibility for behavior change? Are you following that logic? Because my name is Conrad, I'm from Kokta, I sit in the provincial office of Johannesburg. There's no reason for me to be here. But my behavior of working closely with municipalities is slowly influencing the behavior of the municipal colleagues, the officials. Hey, let's work with Kokta. Hey, let's go work in other municipalities. Can you see? Can you see how it works? So your first role is your behavior, how you work together. And make a statement. Write it down. This is how we work together. And we all know how do we want to work together, nah? How? Tell me quickly, 1, 2, 3. How do we want to work together? Come, just scream out there. Say again, yeah? Respect is one of them, nah? respect, listen, and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, multiplication. So I thought I'll just jump off with that. Also, as a ward committee, you've been allocated to your portfolios, and I know you've been wondering, like having sleepless nights, and I know that you were thinking, now, what do I know about finance? What do I know about infrastructure? What do I know about planning? Is that right? Okay. So make it simple, make it understandable for yourself, and when you do that, it will start being simple and understandable for the community and different organizations. The first question you have to ask and answer yourself and have that discussion in the ward committee. What value can we add to this sector? Okay, when we go through the sectors, then we're going to look at examples. What's the value? Think about the value you can add. Okay, I don't know anything about infrastructure, let alone engineering or whatever, but what is the value that I can add within that portfolio to create that awareness in my community? Have you got this? Okay, let me just go through. Then the other point, as from what the speaker was saying, I think you're number one. Oh yeah, by the way, ward committees must be multi-skilled. Né? You must know a little bit about everything. In fact, in the trades, in this artisan industry, you must be a millwright. You must know literally everything about everything, from mechanics to engineering to electronics to electrical work and all that stuff. You can't say, I'm just coming to put on the screws onto the machine. You must know even the electrical components of that. And nowadays also the digital components of that, the computer boxes. Is there anybody here that has that experience of a millwright? It's a scarce skill actually. So you are going to build your scarce skill. And you are going to have to be engineers. Sounds difficult to be engineers. Any engineers here? There's an engineer. Right. We've got capacity in the house. Okay. So your first task is to build bridges. Talk to the engineers. We've got 2 engineers. What are the principles for building bridges? Once we understand those principles, we bring it into the social sphere with people. It's the same principles. Am I right? Building bridges across a river, you follow the same principles for building bridges across people and across communities. You are going to do that. Is that clear? Is that something you want to do? Okay. Where's the engineers? Just stand up so that the others can see where you are. And you can actually facilitate your own workshop about what's the principles of engineering and how can we use those principles to build bridges between the communities, so that we don't have a them and us community. No, we're not going there or we're not going there. And in fact, you're going to be those bridge builders. You're going to lead that space. So if I take you, Mama Katie's going to stress me, 11 o'clock we want to be out. So I'm going to take you, we're going to glance over the presentation and I'll make some detailed comments on some of where I think needs emphasis. Let me just see if I've made all the, yeah, I'm going to, yes. Serve as if there's no tomorrow. And of course, we all know why we're here. Let's go through this. So page 1 would be just page 1 there. So that just gives you the introductions. We're going to do a series of workshops, and the idea is to have a certificate of participation at the end of the year. Now, don't think of that certificate of just another piece of paper. If you make Tswane work, that certificate will have weight because you made Tswane work. It is your contribution to the certificate. I can have a certificate from one of the leading universities in South Africa, but if I don't show that I'm applying that knowledge, that certificate is going to be useless. Am I right? So it's going to be a certificate of participant. I know the speaker said accreditation, but I don't think we're going to get that far. Accreditation is just going to be a nightmare with the SETAs. But I think as Tswane, with this commitment from Tswane, you make that certificate work. So that wherever you use it, people will say, wow, this is the ward committee that made things work in Tswane. Makes sense, eh? Okay. So a number of serious stuff. One of the stuff is going to be on the asset-based approach, and the focus is always going to be on how do we encourage community participation. I know it's a big word, but as we go through all these training modules, we're going to start discovering that it's actually much more easier than what we think it is. It's not that difficult. Okay, so we're going to help you to uncover and discover how that can happen. And it's all aimed at making ward committees work more effectively and more productively. Just one point, and we share it with all other municipalities. Ward committee, it's not a full-time job for you. You're there as the ears and eyes working with the councillor and making those recommendations to the councillors on how things can work. That is why the out-of-pocket expense is to cover those basic expenses. So today we're going to look at some of the portfolios. Page 2 there just talks about the background of Tshwane. When was the last time when Tshwane had ward committees? 2015. I thought it was 19 something. 2015 was the last time. So this is quite a historic. It's quite a legacy that you started. After an absence of so long. What difference are you going to make? What are you going to show that ward committees are important? In other municipalities, every cycle ward committees are established as if it is just there. In Tshwane, there was a huge absence around that. So what are you going to show? What will be different, not just in Tshwane, but also showing the other municipalities how ward committees can help the work of government happen, but also how ward committees can start help communities come together and develop and grow and create a vibrant, livable, bridge-building communities. So the purpose is to promote community participation. So the focus is always about community participation. And when we go through all the workshops, and this is where we're also going to tap into your experience, what is this animal called participation? Is it just coming to a meeting, going to a community meeting, calling people to a meeting, or giving people information, a school is going to be built, this is going to happen? Is that participation? We're going to unpack all of that. I don't want us to go over the time. If there's a burning question, you can just put your hand up. Page 4 looks at just the organizational structure of the city of Tshwane. To understand the role of ward committees within these portfolios, it is important to grasp the structural arrangements. So one, the council, we all know the council and the purpose of the council. Then we have the executive mayor, deputy mayor, and then we have the legislature. And then, of course, the administration, mayoral committee, speaker of councils, and then the chief whip's office and the deputy chief's whip's office. Are there any questions around that? So in I think it's the Systems Act. Okay, I don't have it in front of me, but it talks about municipalities consisting of 3 legs. What are those legs? Council, communities, and the administration. A 3-legged pot. So without those, and you see communities even mentioned in the legislation. Community, your council, and then the administration. So a 3-legged pot, those, what do you call those pots? Cast iron pots. If one leg is missing, will we be able to cook that potjie sop? No, we won't. So when you see the importance of communities, the importance of communities and the public is emphasized even in the legislation. Okay. We all know our executive mayor and our deputy executive mayor and the roles and functions they have to fulfill. The executive functions of the cabinet of the municipalities responsible for leading the various departments, the line function departments, the implementing departments. Okay, give me some water, please. Dr. Moya and Councillor Modise, their roles. And then, of course, there's the mayoral committee with 10 roles there, one being environment, covering the different sectors. I'm not going to go through that. Everything is there. Let's go over to exercise 1 on page 7. Any questions? No questions so far? Okay, page 7. Understanding the roles of the executive and the mayoral committee. Let's do the quizzes. I think here you can just scream out. Okay. So answer the following multiple questions. Who leads the executive function of the city of Tshwane? Mayor. The mayor. The executive mayor. It might sound simple, but this is what you're going to have to explain to community members. Because as a community member, I actually really don't think much of the municipality. I'm going on with my life. I imagine I meet with a ward committee, you meet with community members, and you explain what the role of the mayor is, and the speaker, and the chief whip, and the city manager, for example. It's simple information that some people are very proud to know how the city works. Okay? True or false, the deputy executive mayor takes over leadership responsibilities in the absence of the executive mayor. Yeah, and find out why is then a deputy executive mayor. Yeah? It was recently introduced. You're a metro, you're huge, you're a big conglomerate, you're a big company if you talk in that way. Page 9. Okay, which MMC is responsible for social upliftment, youth programs, and community centers? A, B, C, or D? Social upliftment, youth programs, and community centers. B, yeah, that sounds like B. Okay. And then if you go back to page 6, it will give us the name. They have Community and Social Development Services, Councillor Palesa Modise. And if you're in that portfolio, make friends with Councillor Modise. She would want to say something in that ward. We had this engagement with this ward committee and the ward and the community, And this is what happened. This is how things were solved. This is how the community is growing. And it will make her feel proud that the city is working. Okay? They will not know that the city is working if you don't get engaged to come forward with those solutions and proposals. So take the speaker up on his commitment, and all of you report to him. So take him up on that. So let's go to page 10. Page 10. The other stuff you can just read through. So who is the highest? You're seeing the answers there. So the council is the highest decision-making body of the city, and it is chaired by your speaker. You see what power he has and the responsibilities he has chairing this council, okay, to make sure that things happen. And it includes 2 key committees, Section 79, oversight committees. We're going to look now at who are those committees. Providing oversight, ensuring the executive remains accountable. Okay? That is why you have the speaker. It's almost like you can't be a referee and a player. So that's why the speaker is to make sure that the executive is accountable, accounting for what they said they're going to do, for what they did, for what they didn't do, and for what should be done to find solutions. And that's where you come in as a ward committee, to provide that solutions from the ground up. The legislature on page 11. For those fast readers, the speaker's key responsibilities includes chairing council, overseeing the Section 79 committees, and you see how important you are, and ward committees. You're not just thrown into some committee for J, getting people together to show like we've got a public. It's an important committee, and that importance will only come when you show your worth. You give importance to that. Otherwise, it's just another tick in the box, another box on the organogram. Okay? And We've seen it with most municipalities. It is just something there. You as Tshwane can make something out, can make much more out of it. Not that it's not happening in other municipalities. Yes, we have the same type of discussions and workshops. How do we activate the ward committees? Because it's part of the public participation processes. Section 79 committees. It's still there on page 11. Everybody still following, eh? Great stuff. So it starts to oversee the work of the executive, the departments, and the deliveries. Okay? I'm not going to read through all that. Ensuring accountability. You see, there's big words also upcoming out there, which is oversight. Remember that word? Ensuring accountability of these portfolio committees. Transparency. Okay. Oversight, ensuring accountability, and transparency. Here's my own question. Do you have a role to play in ensuring oversight, accountability, and transparency? Do you have a role? Do you have a role? Yes or no? Yes? Yeah. Okay. And start thinking about that. Discuss about that. What does it look like in practice? I can describe a chili to you, but unless you don't see that chili or taste that chili, you will only have this theoretical concept of a chili. Am I right? So as ward committees, you don't just describe it in theory, but you start practicing it. Being the first ward committee after so many years, you're going to have to knock on many doors to, that's why I'm saying, like engineers, we start testing and experimenting. If it fails, stop, redo, reset, and try another way. Don't continue with failures. For example, protest is, and don't get me wrong, protest is also very important, but is it working? Has it worked? But you see how we as human beings go on? We continue with the same things, like just using a hammer, trying to hammer and fix everything. Okay? So on page 12, there you see the section 79 portfolio committees and their respective focus, their standing committees around each of them, from civilian oversight, corporate, etc., community development. And page 13 gives you additional information. Below are the committees that are not aligned with the mayoral system, or those sectors, but they play an integral part in the oversight value chain. Civilian Section 79 Committee, what does it focus on? Do we know? Petition Section 79 Committee, what does it focus on? Do we know? You are going to be asked, okay, here's a challenge. Where do we channel it to? Which committee? I'm sure everybody knows the IDP Section 79 Committee. Okay, and that's a committee you have a contribution to make. You have a contribution to make all these committees work. Local geographical name committees and the municipal public accounts committee. Also, actually all committees are important if you ask me. Okay, Mama Kitty, you'll just check out if there's a hand for further clarity. Let's go to page 15. Which legislation provides for Section 79 portfolio committees? Is it the municipal constitution structures or Public Finance Management Act? Which legislation makes provision? Anybody? Municipal Structures Act. Okay. Page 16, true or false? Section 79, portfolio committees report directly to the executive mayor. True or false? Okay. True, false. files. Remember, each Section 79 committee has a person heading it on page 12, right? So that person is responsible for that committee and that report to the executive mayor. Okay. Okay, on page 17, you're going to do that on your own. One or two sentences. Why are these 79 portfolio committees important to municipal governance? And on, remember page 11, giving information about Section 79 committees. Oversight, accountability, and transparency. I'm just going through the legal framework and roles of ward committees on page 20. So ward committees are so important that provision has been made in the legislation. Okay. When I have the opportunity to talk to colleagues from other countries also. The legislation doesn't go so far like in South Africa. 2014-13, I met a delegation from India that came to South Africa to see how we have drafted our legislation, just for them also to learn on how do we cover this important aspect of ward committees and public participation in legislation. So the Constitution makes provision for promoting community participation. On a statutory basis, regulated in terms of the Municipal Structures Act, Section 73 outlines, so we need to know these sections, the establishment and operations of ward committees. So ward committees are statutory structures, they're not constitutional structures. The purpose, it gives a purpose, community participation. And your challenge is, what does it look like in practice? And then, of course, the composition. We know the composition and representation. And then, page 21. Page 21 talks about the functions, okay, of ward committees. And you've sort of started getting a feel of that role. You're not doing the work of the councillor, but I know some of you would be very impatient thinking that you can do a better job at it, but you're not there to do it. Okay? You're there to make the ward committee work and make government work at the end of the day. Okay? In an honest and sincere way. So you make recommendations on matters affecting the ward. And you have that discussion in your ward committee. I understand you've got one meeting per quarter, and of course in between you are going to talk to each other to start formulating those recommendations. So, assisting in identifying the community needs, okay, what's needed, but we are going to take it a step further when we talk about the asset-based community development. Also identifying the opportunities for communities to develop in a social and even an economic way. There's a question there.
Colin, sorry to trouble your name, fine to have it. Just a quick question. Going back to page 20, your constitution of
Just switch on the mic there, I think.
All right, the mic is on, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, great stuff. So, representation may include youth organizations, faith, women, business, and NGOs and community groups. All right, listening to the speaker just now and understanding the stipend and the 10 elected members, how do we get an NGO or community group registered as well? And what would the effect be? Thank you.
Thanks for that question, important question. So the ideal is when ward committees are established, we have different interest groups expressing interest to be part of the establishment process, nominations, and voting. Okay. Ideally, a ward committee must consist of representation from these different organizations within the community. whether they are youth organizations, faith-based, women-based business sectors, or from any other community group. That's the ideal. Okay? So, and when voting takes place, then of course there's lots of lobbying, and different groups will nominate and lobby for each other. So that when you have a ward committee, there's a broad representation of the community of that ward within that ward committee. So there's a business, maybe somebody that's active in the business sector, etc., etc. So it's when the ward committee is established. I don't know if I've...
Thank you, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did follow that model.
Yeah, that's the
actually.
ideal, but of course we know what happens in communities. It's not perfect, but it's something to work with, as long as there's a commitment to reach out to, let's say for example, there's no sort of representation from the business sector in the ward committee, but the ward committee through the sector representations can then create an outreach to the business sector. How do we foster a closer relationship with the business sector or the youth sector, and make sure that we look at those needs and opportunities? How are their interests captured and brought into council? That as a city, we must have a dedicated focus on youth to improve youth activities, youth, opportunities, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's continue page 21. So just going back to 21 quickly. So you've got an advisory role, but you have no executive or legislative power. You provide advice, recommendations only. And that is to strengthen the relationship between the ward committee and the community. Okay. And if I may say this, councillors, don't quote me on that, make the councillors look good. Okay. By working with the councillor and problem solving with the councillors. Okay. Because they are our political representatives, elected political representatives. And it's all with a single aim of making communities work better, making services, making government work for communities. That's the single aim. Okay. Because we are in this political environment. So, any comment? I'm still watching the time, 15 minutes. Yeah? Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, great stuff. So, we're going to complete in 15 minutes. Page 21 just gives more detailed explanation of the Yeah, go. Mike.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Okay. Just before maybe we continue, before we continue, sir, colleagues, we have got a question and answer session. So, please take note of the questions that you might have. And when we open that session, it's also a confined session. So we just need to have control over the meeting. So please take note of your questions. And when we open for question and answer session, you may then pose your questions there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for saving me on that. Okay. You've got a sense of where I come from. Okay, so page 23, just give it, page 22, detailed explanation section of the role of the city, section 19 of the Municipal Structures Act, schedule 7 of the Structures Act, and then of course section 74 of the Structures Act. That's information that we can go through. Page 23, just give an indication of the chief whip and the functions of the chief whip. Page 24 talks about ward councillors of ward committees. A key emphasis there is that the ward councillors are accountable to their ward and to the municipal councils, and that they are a representative conduit between communities they represent and the municipal council, and giving regular feedback to the community around the issues emerging in the community and how it can problem solve. Okay, there's a point, they are meant to live in the areas that they represent. Page 25, there's 10 portfolios. area of focus on page 25, gender-based violence, child-aided families, pensioners, ECD, etc. So the first portfolio is the community and social development portfolio. Who here is responsible for the community and social development portfolio? Are there anybody assigned? Interesting, eh? So you've got a nice. You have to be very in touch and in tune with communities, eh? And what's happening, not just only in terms of services, but also in terms of what people do in their communities to make their communities livable. A place of safety, a place of playing, a place of security. The second, so I'm just going page 26. 26. The second one is corporate and shared services. You also have a very nice responsibility and you're wondering, what can I do there? Who's corporate and shared services? Just put up your hand quickly. Page 26. Anybody corporate shared services? There we are. Remember, think about the value you as a ward committee can add to this. Don't complicate things, okay? It gives a description of the roles and functions there. Page 27, community safety. Who's community safety? Okay. Who's a member? Who's part of the community police forums also? Okay. Okay. This is a very interesting committee also. It looks very simple, but yeah, and we have lots of experience of that. We have active CPFs going, so it makes the work sort of early. And again, is that liaison, the relationship, building safer communities. And safety is also not just about the presence of police, but it's also about the relationship between people and communities. So another exciting committee. Okay. Number 4, economic development and spatial planning. Who's there? Okay, sounds also a little bit complicated there. It's actually quite easy if you ask me. Economic development and spatial planning. There's lots of activities. The roles and functions are spelled out there, but keep it sweet and simple. Make those activities sweet and simple. Even if you start connecting businesses within your ward and across ward, you're starting to fulfill the functions of this portfolio, making businesses more, making the ward attractive for businesses, for example, type of thing. Then there's number 5. I like this group of people, the environment and agricultural management. There's lots of awareness now, environmental awareness. Just put up your hand, yeah, we have lots of environmental awareness. Okay. Is it just about planting trees? They look like a whole bunch of tree planters, eh? But if you plant trees, is there anybody covering the ward? I'm dying to meet the cabbage bandit. Is there anybody covering that ward? What happened to that? Start thinking about that, eh? Can you see? And environment and agricultural management then talks to economic development and spatial planning. How do we accommodate this? It's fine if the municipality neglect the cutting of the grass, but if somebody wants to plant cabbages there, he or she becomes a bandit. But not that we're going to encourage, the breaking of the law. But how do we start making provision for that? Incorporating it in the flow of a community. Number 6, finance. Sounds like a headache. Who's in finance? Just put up your hands as we read it out. Finance, no? It looks like you've got a headache there already, but what do I do in this committee? It talks there about the responsibilities, but make it simple, make it understandable. The budget for all of us sounds very big, but how do we start breaking it down? What does it mean for your ward? Okay? And we will have exercises like how do we make it simple, how do we break it down in each of these sectors. And then number 7 is YALT. Okay, another exciting committee. Who's in YALT? Just put up your hand. Okay. You should be looking at the services of YALT in your communities, the YALT of members. So it's not just about clinics, but it's also about healthy lifestyle. Our YALT people, they don't look so healthy. Okay, making sure our grandmothers and grandfathers, they get good services at the clinics. They don't go sit in long queues. And you can even extend it to the SASA queues also. Some of them really experience not good experience at these service points. So, Housing and human settlements, the speaker, that's number 8, where you are. Still wondering what you're doing in this space, né? Housing and human settlements, the speaker gave some insights on that. But think about your community. There might not be space to build houses, for example. But we talk about human settlements, you know. How do we continue foster creating livable communities, settlements, when people feel safe? So think about that also. And of course, in other communities, the need for housing, etc. Roads and transport. It looks like another. Where are you? You don't know what to do. Potholes, especially the potholes, and robots not working there. So think about the value that in your ward, the value add in roads and transport. Okay. I know there's lots of issues coming up around that. Okay. And there's also lots happening about that around that. It's not that you don't have to be a roads and transport expert or an expert in any of these sectors. All you have to do is you have to start care and care and care, like as if there's no tomorrow. How do we improve the mobility of people in the ward from one ward to the next ward? How's the taxi associations, operating in this? How do we improve the flow of traffic, etc.? Okay, especially around schools. We're getting closer to the end. 7 minutes to go. Utilities and services. Where are you? So many of you, it looks like so many of you don't have work to do. These utilities can operate on their own. What are you doing, my brother? My sister, what are you doing in utilities and services? You've had headaches on what to do then, eh? And what value to add? Who makes up utility and services? Waste, electricity, sanitation, refuse removal, and all that. Those things must work without you even having to worry about it. Is that right? Think again. There's something for you to do. I'm not going to tell you. But think about it. It can be an exciting, because it's in waste. It's in the utility services where the city works or it doesn't work. If that waste doesn't get picked up, if the water doesn't flow, etc., etc. Okay? Is there something for you to do besides the engineering part and making the technical stuff working? There could be something, value add, make it simple. You don't have to be an expert in that field. You want me to tell you what you can do? No, I think about it. Okay. Page 35. The speaker spoke about project steering committees. Ward committee members cannot sit on project steering committees. Why? A quick question. You're a ward committee member. You sit on a project steering committee. You're going to get almost also a stipend there, or be part of the community works program. You can't sit on that committee, because it's a conflict of interest. And you don't want to be seen being caught up in a conflict of interest. Okay? So be transparent, show accountability, and keep it clear. And it also goes for officials. And just around this project steering committees, I know in some of our communities there's lots of tensions. Just 1 minute sharing a story of how I think it was either a community works program, or these EPW programs coming into a CASI, and everybody fights, from the councillor to the ward committee members to other organizations, wanting the people in, wanting the CLOs to be appointed and all that. We all know the story, nah? 9 out of 10 such projects almost sometimes doesn't happen because of those tensions. In Motherwell, in the early 2000s, a project like that was introduced. And this is where you can play a role. They went through the full process of consulting the community. From what the project is going to be about, what the budget of the project, what the project can accommodate, the type of skills that's required from community members, specialized skills, for example, that doesn't reside in the community. Getting the community to understand what this project is about. It wasn't just brought, here's a project, councillor, give a whole bunch of CVs. I've heard about such stories. The councillor agreed to that it must be open. The ward committee agreed to it must be an open process. Everything was explained. It was okay, I'm going to just repeat the speaker's word. It was a DA ward. Okay. And of course you can imagine ward committee members are also going to be a mixture of the parties, then was dominantly also ANC. Did you think that project took place? Did you think, you don't think so? What if I tell you the project actually did take place? It happened. Only 200 people could be accommodated, employed on that project. There was over 1,000 applications. What do you think happens in our communities when that happens? But just because of the way they've engaged and consulted with the community, those tensions were minimized. In fact, there were no tensions. The Premier was so happy, I think it was under Premier Kivis at that time, she actually gave the project more money. And one of the things that stood out for me was that it was a DA councillor, a very politically contested ward also with the ANC, and this colleague that told me the story was telling me, and it was the ANC aunties that protected that project. No, and they said nobody's going to mess with this project, and they supported the DA councillor. Because everybody was transparent, everybody was accountable, even the project managers, etc., etc. And even the people that applied, their CVs were even posted, the names of people that applied, who got it and why they got it. So that's an exercise. So you can make it. Can you see there are examples in South Africa of us making it? Okay, there's a page 36. Ward committees are statutory structures. There's a page 37, understanding the legal framework. The Structures Act makes provision for the establishment of ward committees. Question 3, which of the following are normally not represented on a ward committee? Okay. And this is it. The ideal is that political parties cannot canvass to be part of the, not that they're excluded, but they cannot come on a party political ticket. Okay? Not that they are excluded. They will come through other ways of community engagement or representation. Yeah. Okay, almost done. Last 2 pages. We can skip page 39. Page 38, page 39 gives us tells us about the administrative arrangements. Okay, and of course, Matapelo is this region. Okay, so the officials in the city will clarify and helps out with the administrative arrangements around the functioning of ward committees. And then the last page, on page 40, continue, there is also the administrative arrangements. And the long and the short of it is that the speaker did give an indication that if things don't work, ward committees can, it's rather you resign, step down, or whatever. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, Councillor. Sorry about that, it's so rushed. 11 o'clock. Yeah, we are 11 o'clock. Maybe some questions.
Let's appreciate Conrad for that presentation, please. Thank you very much. Colleagues, we're going to move at the speed of lightning so that we get out of here as soon as possible. Right now, we're entering the question and answer session. What you're going to do, first of all, you're going to introduce yourself, like I haven't done yet. Introduce yourself, your name, your portfolio in the ward committee, and your ward. I'm your chairperson of this meeting. My name is Councillor Kenneth Marsha. I'm the chairperson of the Rules and Ethics, a Section 79 committee. They've just told you about that. So you know what our role is within council. It's oversight. So that has now been explained to you. That is who I am. I'm going to know who you are in a short space of time. And please confine your questions within 2 minutes. May I have my stopwatch, please, Councillor? Within 25 minutes, we should be done with the question and answer session. You've got 2 minutes to get your points across, and then we will then reserve the remaining few minutes. I prefer the other one. Yeah, that one. So that we move swiftly. Can I start on this side of the house? Can we have questions on my right, please? Okay, I'm gonna move. We only have one session, colleagues. I almost said the other word that I was not supposed to say because I'm chairing political meetings from time to time. There's a gentleman on row D. I don't know if your hand is still up. Second on row D, you'll be number 1. There's a lady there at the back on row H. There's a gentleman at the back. This side. Okay, no, that's okay. It's fine. We'll correct that. So on this side, sir, you'll be number 1. Madam, there you'll be number 2. You'll be number 3. Okay. Then I move to the side. Okay. You will be number 4. You will be number 5. You will be number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. However, we are starting with this gentleman here. He is number 0. So keep your numbers. The gentleman here that had raised a hand earlier on, we're going to start with him, and then we move according to those numbers that we gave you. So don't lose your number. You remember your numbers, correct? Okay. Gentleman in red, you've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much, the speaker on the podium. I was very much worried because of I was interrupted. So then now I was surprised that I'm going to be number 13 and stuff. Speaker on the podium, let me greet you. Let me greet the colleagues as well, the councillors available. The speaker on the podium, I'm very much worried because of you have talked about something like 2 minutes of stuff in terms of the sufficient time. So unfortunately, because of we had a long session in terms of this proceedings, I'm having questions that are going to take perhaps 10 minutes or 15 minutes, unfortunately.
Sir,
so I don't know if, can I please finish?
Sir, please proceed to your questions because we need to afford everybody a time to speak in this meeting. Please proceed to the questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hence, I'm asking to you that am I allowed to ask my questions up until I finish? Because I'm very much sure that they're going to take more than what you are expecting.
We are confined to 2 minutes, sir. You are already 1 minute and 10 seconds into your time.
No, thank you very much. Speak on the podium. Let me not submit anything. Thank you very much.
I don't know if...
you may
okay,
continue.
thank you very much. My name is Lucas Titus Superapera, Ward 68, in charge of economic development and spatial planning. Like the gentleman, I had a couple of questions, but I'm just going to ask one which is, I believe, is pertinent in everybody's ears. One of the main issues that has not been addressed today was the term of office, which we've been asking this question for a while now, and it hasn't been answered, whether our term is going to end next year or whether it's going to continue for 5 years. We are not very clear on that term, on that issue. We would like clarification on that issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, number 1. Well within time. Number 2.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Morauli Tswalo from Ward 55. Let me skip the portfolio because it's complicated, and I'll rather go straight to my question. I want to know what is the limitation of providing support to the ward councillor, because in my ward, there are members of the ward committee who are told in some instances that no, you are overstepping your role. So I need clarity on that. And then question number 2, I think it's important that we should understand as we go out there under the emblem of the city of Tshwane, denounce your political standing, because we had a meeting whereby the councillor has put on a regalia of DA presenting in the community meeting. So I think that should be clarified, because when you go there, you go under the emblem of the city of Tshwane, not your political party. Thank you.
Thank you, number 2. Let's move to number 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Mine is quick and straightforward. My name is Tolani Bebe. My question is that what do we do when private projects, go to courts when you approach them in terms of them involving our people, and then they claim that they are being intimidated. They don't want to involve the communities, and then that 30% does not apply to them. It applies to the government projects, but them as private properties, they don't want to involve us. So what are the steps to take in that particular regard? Thank you.
We are moving quite swiftly. Number 4.
Thank you, sir. Anelda Priya, Ward 79, Environment and Horticulture. I just have a clarifying question. There's in the document it says that disaster management formalization falls under me, with fire and floods and things like that. So the speaker said earlier that don't be involved in things where you shouldn't be. So disaster management is quite a very specific thing. Where do I access information around how far and what is my role in that disaster management section? Thank you.
Number 5. Yeah, I'm pressing wrong buttons here. The 2 minutes starts now. No, thank you very much, Chair of the session and the Mayor and the collective. Kamalami Alpha Hatevi, I'm from Ward 77, and my portfolio is that of environment and agriculture. My question is around the spaces that belong to the city of Tshwane. Insofar as the adopter spot is concerned, because there are people that are taking these spots, and there are official applications that are done that are unnecessarily delayed, and my worry is that there is no intervention decisive to that effect, because of even the councillor tried his best to intervene in some instances, but there is no assistance. So because of, in order for us to be effective, we also need assistance to that effect. And I'm not sure if I'm digressing in terms of what we're speaking about here, but I just wanted to highlight that the adopter spot issues need to be taken seriously, because people are just taking these spaces, and once they are in, it's difficult for those who've done official applications to start removing them. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're doing very well. Number 6.
I have just a basic question. I'm sorry. Jeanette at Ward 84. I'm looking after finance, but in general, we are struggling to get proper dates for when things will happen. A few days is just, we need proper planning from the Speaker's office, please, so that we can plan our year and plan our meetings. And we also want to know how to get feedback, because if we ask for, give us an example of how a report looks that you guys want, there's no feedback. Procedures, how to carry on. Thank you.
Much appreciated. That point is noted. Number 7. I think he's up there.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings, colleagues. I'm Jimmy Tlago from Ward 77. My responsibility is corporate and shared service. Chair, I would like to ask that if the project comes into the ward we are serving in, are we allowed to be elected as CLOs? Thank you, Chair.
Moving quite swiftly to number 8. Number 8, where are you? There.
Dumelang, ke nna Joseph Lekalakala from Ward 106. I'm a HOD of Road and Transport. My question is that when we do public meetings, could you please, Office of the Speaker, provide us with a loudspeaker so that not everybody have smartphones. Some people are still using with the ones we call poly. So and even the elderly people, they want to be part of that, but sometimes they don't get information. And secondly, I just want to touch this thing of the issue as a ward committees. As the speaker now left, he said that people can come into your yard with a placard. And so what about our safeties as a ward committees? You know that previously the councillors, some of them, their houses have been burnt down. So I just want to know that. Thank you.
Thank you, member of my ward committee. Can we move to... No, I have to stress that. I'm being here proud to see my ward committee members present and asking relevant questions. Can we move to number 9?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mary from Lizonia, Ward 48. So my question is, I need to ask if our councillor doesn't want to work with us, ward committee. So there's a project that is going right now in Lizonia, but we didn't know about it. So my question is, how are we going to work with our councillor? Because in the meeting, he doesn't want to work with us. Thank you.
Okay. Are those all the questions that we had?
Sorry, Gunther Schultz, Ward 42. This is a new question. Is that all right?
Is it a new hand?
Yeah, new hand.
Did we cover those first hands? Okay. Yeah, there's a gentleman here. Was not those who raised their hands earlier on. I remember the gentleman here. Was there no other hand on the side? No. Let's take that question, and I will just, by the virtue of having colleagues asking questions within the 2 minutes allocated, I'll give extra 3 hands. 3 hands that I'll give. Okay, but I'll choose from those hands. Can the gentleman be the last one to ask their question, please? Continue.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Themba Dindi from Ward 92, Inner City Central. My portfolio is housing and human settlement. I just wanted first to make a comment that this workshop would have been available if it was held at the beginning when we were all starting our work, because it's explaining our responsibilities and all that. In other words, it's a sort of an induction. Now, also would like also to know whether is it going to be possible for all these 6 workshops, which we were told that we are going to go through 6 workshops, if next year it will be the election, the local government election. In other words, the term of the council will be ending. That's just my question. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me take the last 3. I'll take 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Please, I'm going to give you a minute because I'm extending now. I'm going to give you a minute each to make sure that we don't delay people here unnecessarily. So it will be a minute for you because I'm giving you a grace period. Okay, number 1.
Morning, everyone. My name is Beauty from Ward 106. My profile is in the environment. What I like to ask in the chair, if I can adopt a sport and then I make silime lapha singakhona ukuthi silime ngokumnyango onokhona ukuthi usivulele sifumane izinto zolima like njengoba siklina nama-dumping lawo nje singenza kanjani ukuthi sifumane izinto zokuthi sikhona ukulima.
Thank you. Your minute is up. Number 2. Number 2 was, that's it.
Thank you for the opportunity. The name is Brian van Maver. As I stated earlier, I am responsible for the Economic Development Spatial Planning, Ward 79, I think it is. I also represent the Littleton Ratepayers Association. So my question here refers to actually both portfolios. If we have a organizational, or let's say there's a problem, there's a hurdle we're being faced in the process, do we come to your office to get clarity? That's my question.
Thank you. Number 3.
Thank you. I'm Jonathan Malamulela, Human Settlements. My question is simple. As you know, all the old communities, most of us are not working, and then the EPW program is on the way. So can we be able to work at the EPW and be a work counselor as well? And the other thing, you're using the data. So I'm asking the board to assist us with data so that we can communicate with the community. Thank you.
Thank you. 3. Can we go to 4? 4 was on the side. 4 was on the side. Press on it. Did you press?
Hello, Dumelang. Kabala.
Yes.
Lila la ke nna ladies from Ward 72. Ke bereka ka environment. Ko pleke ke informal settlement. Re na le problem ya ho tliwa ditlakala. Eba ke ditlakala today, tomorrow di tletse. Le ba storm water re ba reportela. Aba re responde. Ya we took out in it. O ka re ntsana ne ka le teng. Taba ya di salary ka gore o ka re o bereka le motswadi wa go life form mo ngwageng ka 1,000 mara o bereka every day yena o bereka o ga life form mo ngwageng nne ke nyoko botsa yena ka re gape re sala ke setsenyana guys ba tshwane a re kare a busanang.
Last one, number 5. Gentleman in here.
Good day, Chair. My name is Michal Botha. I'm from Ward 84. I've just got a general question from a procedural point of view. If we get any notification from the councillor or from the Speaker's office for meetings, what is the allowed time period for those notifications? And also, can we get an agenda or the detail of the meeting? Because we've received notices like that. We've asked for feedback on the detail, and we did not get any detail as to what the meeting was about. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the questions. At this stage, I'm going to invite Conrad to come forward to respond. I took how many hands that side? 3 hands. And
But I was number 5.
He was number 5.
The name is Bernard Rachana from Ward 62. The portfolio is in the social development department. Yeah. I just want to know, say, why was it chosen to pay for the meetings, not for the work we're doing in the ward?
Exactly.
Because 1,000 for a meeting, it can be okay. But the work we are doing, it seems nobody's taking care of it. Thank you.
Okay, can we get responses from Conrad and Office of the Speaker? I think some questions, I'm not sure if Conrad is in a position to respond. Issues like stipends or out-of-pocket expenses. Can we get that response, please? Thank you.
Is there anybody from the Office of the Speaker that can help? I suppose. Okay. I'll go through most of the questions. I don't have all the answers for everything, but I will also list some examples of what other municipalities are doing. So I think I've got something like 15 or 16 questions. Some are sort of similar. Okay, I'm just starting as it goes. Limitations in terms of supporting, working with ward councillors. Your responsibility as a ward committee member is to advise the councillor. Okay, and of course there might be a thin line of where people come to you first before they go to the councillor. Respectfully refer them back to the councillor. Find out what it is. Why am I standing there? Find out what it is about and respectfully refer the person to the councillor. Don't say, I can't solve your problem. If you have a solution to it, talk to the councillor. So respect is going to be your main behavioral trait to get you through that relationship with the councillor. Okay? Don't butt heads with the councillor. I don't know what the example is when the councillor said you're overstepping or whatever, but sometimes you get that. I've seen and heard about such experiences where community members go to the ward committee, and even when the ward committee refers them to the councillor, they say, no, the councillor is, cannot address it or whatever, and then the ward committee member tries and do that. In Joburg, they like to say, this is not your job. You're not in full-time employment. Play that advisory role. Give solutions. Create those connections. You don't have to pick up the wheelbarrow and push it yourself, but rather work with people to show them how to push that wheelbarrow. So advisory, and respectfully refer to the councillor and even advise the councillor. Councillor, don't you think we must go to this department or that department to see how we can, sort out this adopter spot? How can we make adopter spot more simpler to work with our communities better? So I'm also covering that. Private projects, going to court, or private sector companies. There is a requirement. It's the National Environmental Management Act that requires private companies doing, say, developments in communities. There are components for public consultation, so know your law. The National Environment Management Act requires environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment. That's where community consultation must take place. Okay? Again, approach. Respect is going to get you through all the locked doors. Okay? When you ask questions, ask it in a way to
get further clarity, not asking where the other party thinks that you want to stop them from doing that. So know the law. Disaster management. So you don't know what to do with disaster management? What? Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't want to overstep around it. Again, you as a ward committee, don't overstep on any of the other areas. Just get information. If it's information, how do we make that information and share that information in the simplest form to communities? You don't have to overstep and get involved in the actual act of recovering disaster. But actually, disaster awareness is everybody's responsibilities. What are the risks in communities that can mitigate or prevent further disasters and all that? And especially in our informal communities. I don't know if that answers, but don't get involved in that. Or don't go and tell the fire department you're 10 minutes late or whatever. Rather respectfully go in with your counselor and advise, the department responsible for disaster management. We might be able to improve the response time. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Because you're in a political space, anything and everything you're going to do is going to be politically interpreted. Spaces adopt the spot. Maybe the office of the speaker must actually look into that to how do we streamline and remove the barriers for this opportunity to take it up. Okay. Ward committees, don't you get involved with the adopt the spot. Facilitate access to adopt. Facilitate access to adopt the spot. Okay. Don't you now go and dig up the soil to plant cabbage. Work with community members that can come together and volunteer to plant cabbage. Okay. Yeah, don't try and be a bandit. So the office of the speaker, here's a nice responsibility for you. How do we, remove the barriers for using this opportunity? And the adopt the spot can be used across all the portfolios, especially environmental. Okay, so there again, the pitch is making services work, making engagement working. So I spoke about council-ward committee relationship. It must be a respectful relationship. Okay, and like I've said, because of the transparency and accountability in Motherwell, like I've indicated earlier on, the ANC aunties protected that project. And even supported the DA councillor for the success of that. Why? Because it was open, it was transparent. The councillor didn't seem to be bringing in its own friends. The ANC didn't seem to be pushing their own, people into becoming CLOs. And no, you cannot be a CLO. Because you're a ward committee member, if everything works well, you're always the first to know when projects come up. And suddenly tomorrow you're a CLO, do you think the community members are going to be happy with you? No, they're going to fight with you. And it's a conflict of interest. Your ward committee members don't get seen to be involved in such conflict of interest. If you really want to be a CLO, resign from the ward committee. Those steering committees, rather as a ward committee, play that advisory role. Don't accept any money from them. Okay, so let me go much quicker through some of them. Councillor, you'll just come in where I get them. Procedures of meetings, yes, that must be built in when you're invited. What's the purpose? What's going to be done? And the time is notice. And I think ward committees propose that this is a standard procedure for the notification of meetings, and we would want to see the purpose. If it's not done, you as a ward committee start that new tradition and actually propose it to the office of the speaker. Officials, we suggest here's a template for this. You see what I'm trying to say? I don't know what the answer is and what the procedure is, but the office of the speaker must make sure that that is there. And when members are invited to these meetings, ward committee members, even community members, it's not about come to the meeting, we're going to talk about this. Give a purpose, give an outcome, give an expectation of that meeting. What do we expect from you as a ward committee member and from the community? Start preparing and empower the ward committees to know the details so that when they act with the communities, they can clearly explain, this is the issue, this is what the expectation is, and this is what we expect from that meeting. And this is what we expect from you as a community. It starts empowering community members to come prepared to meetings. Okay? So there's good protocols that we can put in there. So we spoke about private projects. If you want to work as a CLO, resign from the work committee. There is a national guide. I will share it with the office of the speaker. It's plain down. Plain down conflict of interest. It's like me here. Imagine Swani pays before coming to this training. It's not gonna go well. It's a conflict of interest. So I'm using my access to Swani to come and do work and be paid for that. You're going to find yourself in the same situation. Loudspeakers, the office of the speaker must, assist work committees with the announcements of meetings and not just come to a meeting again. Create clear protocols of why, what do we want, what do we expect from you as a community, and how we're going to go forward. Okay. Be careful about just wanting loudspeakers. There are people hard of hearing, deaf people in our communities, they won't hear you. So find other ways also to notify community members. Did you ever think about that? Almost done. Okay. So this is an ongoing process of having a number of training workshops on how to get our work done. Yes, it would have helped if it was much earlier on. We're already in May. But yeah, it just shows you how we as government work. And again, as work committees, make proposals on how to speed up things. Make proposals on how to make things work. Of course, the speaker spoke about get to know the department, the sector, and make friends there. Start working with that. The office of the speaker officials can also help with building those type of relationships. Your work is going to be relationship building. Okay, getting to open up these doors in departments, and then the last ones. We spoke about procedures and notices, and then don't know what was the last one. Yeah, I think I've covered everything here. Oh, the stipend around the stipend. It's an out-of-pocket expense to cover. This is the clarity on it, and there's national guidelines to cover the minimal expenses of when you do your work as a ward committee. Okay, example: phone, data, maybe transport. It's not a full-time job. It's a counselor's job. You're just there to help the counselor. Send a WhatsApp to the counselor. Counselor, there's these 3 people in this area that needs a meeting. You don't take those 3 people to the counselor. Let the counselor come to come and discuss that issue, to have a meeting with. You don't pick up the wheelbarrow. You don't dig the trenches. Okay? So very minimal. Your job is actually quite easy, and advise. Respect and advise. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Speaker. You didn't answer my question.
Which question was that? Sorry, what did you ask?
I did ask you about the EPW that is on the way. Are we able to work as EPW where we are still what committees? Because we are not working. Most of us are not working here.
Okay, there is a national regulation from DCOC National where EPW programs normally gets coordinated from. No, you can't work in the EPW program if you want to resign as a ward committee member. It's a conflict of interest. The last thing you want as a ward committee member, you don't want other community members now to fight with you and say, yeah, you had inside information, you knew about it, and you chose your own favorites. You have to keep as clean as possible.
But sir, I thought working as a ward committee is to assist the community and to get experience that we can work in the municipality, because of we did work with side to side with the councillor, so that we have experience that we can help Institute of Tshwane to assist them to make the work to be easier at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. I think the question has been responded to. And in the bylaw, it's quite clear that as an official of the city, you can't be a ward committee member. vice versa, when you're a ward committee member, you can't then be an official in the city. It will mean that you will then have to resign from one to be the other. I think that point should be quite clear. With regard to the adopt a sport question, I think it will seem that there are challenges there in that regard. The adopt a sport policy speaks about adopting a sport for public good, not for business issues and all those kind of things that might be beneficial to an individual, but you will then adopt it for something like maybe to create a park or a vegetable garden that might be to donate into the community, but not for an individual's benefit. So if there are challenges in that regard or in terms of the applications with regard to adopt a sport, I think we'll have to get the Department of Environment and Agriculture so that we understand what could be the challenges that members have raised in that regard. I think the member from Ward 77, the issue of adopt a sport, I think you are raising it for the second time. We'll try to find out what the specific challenges that you are referring to and get the department to come and respond to those. The other question that was raised, and I'm not sure if it was answered or not, but it seems not to have been answered, was with regard to the term of office. The term of office of the ward committee is lined with the term of office of that particular council. I think we must make this point very clear. So this ward committee would have been established during the current term of council, meaning that when this current term of council lapses, yourselves as members of the ward committees also lapse as members of the ward committee until we have the next elections, which will be after the next elections of 2026-27. I hope that point is clear. And with regard to I will not even dare to call it a stipend. It is called in the bylaw, it's an out-of-pocket expenses. It is an expense that assists you as members of the ward committee to attend to your meetings. It could be this meeting, it could be other meetings that are called within the ward. It is not a salary. I think maybe if we move from a premise of a salary, then that's where we're going to miss a point. It's something that assists you to carry your responsibilities as a member of the ward committee. I hope we are clear in that regard. Let's look at the bylaw. Let's take time and go through the bylaw. Some of these questions are contained within the bylaw. So let's just revisit that bylaw. It's quite clear within the bylaw that this is how things are supposed to roll. Okay, at this moment in time, I'm going to call forward our ward councillor of Ward 58, Tatana Ngoveni, to come forward and give us a vote of thanks. Tatana Ngoveni, as the host of this auspicious event, it is now your responsibility to make sure that you take us home. Thank you very much.
There's a hand raised at the back, please.
Who's going to do this? Okay. Colleagues, I think all of you have been given the code of conduct of members of the ward committee. You are requested to sign those code of conducts and submit them to the team from the Speaker's office. I hope all of you have got that. Councillor Ngobeni? Okay. Sorry, we're no longer at the question and answer session, but I just want to find out what is that hand for, sir?
Hi, good day. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, Mr. Schultz, Ward 42. I know this is clearly a training session, and thank you for coming back to me. I did put up my hand before you took the last one. I have specific questions about portfolios, as did several other of the people here today. Clearly this was a training session, but may I make a suggestion? The next time you get the ward committee members sitting here in council chambers, to please have the city have their mirror image of the portfolios. So from community social development, corporate services, community safety, finance, health, have the representatives, the city's representatives in those portfolios sitting here in the same meeting, so that when there is a specific question on procedure or where shall I get the information, the city's responsible person in that portfolio can answer that question then and there.
Thank you.
Because that would help all of us. Yes. Yes.
Your input is noted. Thank you. Continue, Councillor. Councillor Ngobeni will give us the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good not to be on the spot. I think being a chairperson is not easy, because you must from time to time satisfy everyone. Thank you very much, Chairperson, for this important session. Officials from Kotka, thank you very much. Peter, you are always with me. Conrad, you are always with me at all times. Councillor Mayor, thank you for having attended this session as well. There are other councillors, I think they left. I would like to also thank them in their absentia. Thanks to all members of ward committees who have taken their time on a Saturday like this, setting aside all your responsibility and then respect this meeting and attend. Thank you very much. Official from Speaker's Office, our VVIP, thank you very much for having organized this important session. It was well organized. There's water, there's t-shirts, there's booklets. Thank you very much for that. And also what I would like to emphasize, because Agri Chair will not want to be on the spot. You know, when we call public participation to review these bylaws, always attend, because you seems not to be reading that bylaw. You seems not to be reading that bylaw. I can tell you, in my ward, you can't do anything without me. You can't do anything through the ward council. Without the ward councillor. You can't. It's the chair. The bylaw says it's the chair. It always starts there. So please, I'm asking you to go and, because Chair, I wanted to steal this opportunity as well. I'm asking everyone to go and read the bylaw. Because the expectations which I see are wrong. And it's on the basis that we don't read the bylaw, and it's on the basis that when we call for public participation, for comments, you normally don't attend those meetings. Go and read this bylaw. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ngobeni. I then declare this workshop officially closed. If there are those who might still have other questions, some members who might remain behind that can attend to some of the queries that you might have. But the workshop is officially adjourned. Thank you very much for coming through.